The next episode starts with, hey, wait a minute. Didn't those two get killed by Klein's guild group whatever back in episode 3? What the hell are they doing here? And alive. Anyways, it starts with a big meeting between several guilds going over plans to take down the next boss. Asuna, now apparently being second in command of the guild presiding over all others, or something, comes up with a plan that Kirito isn't cool with.
Lure it to the village. That's how we get the boss.
Wait, you can't be serious. If we do, the boss will go after the villagers.
Yes, that's the idea. And while the boss is busy killing NPCs, we can attack it. And kill it.
But they're not just objects. NPCs are different than rocks and trees. Look, they're...
You think they're alive? Really?
Yeah, really? So on top of being a weird, manipulative asshole, this guy is also crazy for thinking that NPCs are people. Oh god, is that racist? After the meeting, Asuna finds our hero lounging around while everyone else is busy dying trying to clear the path up to the next boss. They argue again, but Kirito talks her into relaxing and taking a nap while those in her charge are busy risking life and limb to get to this unseen boss. By the way, why do characters in anime always grunt or have to make some weird moan when they react or look at stuff?
Taking a nap in the middle of the day. Some people sure got it easy.
Speak for yourselves, you lazy fucks. You two are supposed to be dead. And yet, here you are, strutting about like you got somewhere to be. The only place you should be is in your graves. Anywho, Asuna wakes up and nearly cuts Kirito's head off. She offers to take him out to dinner as payment for watching her. And no, not in a creepy way this time. I would say good work, Aniplex, but I don't give points to a kleptomaniac for not stealing a pen from the office for a whole day. There's apparently been a recent outbreak of people killing other people in their sleep while in a safe zone. Speaking of which... And yep, this episode is gonna be a mystery, one that I found myself falling asleep during. Not only could I not care less about any of these characters or their circumstance, but the mystery itself isn't all that enthralling. It is one of the most typical setups to a mystery/thriller I've ever seen. These seemingly inconsequential people have a shady past involving someone they know getting killed, and now it's starting to catch up to them. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Or am I? The only thing of any note that happens in this two-parter, and yes, I said two-parter, as in this story takes up 2 whole episodes, is that Kirito and Asuna develop their friendship a bit. And that's it. Everything else directly associated with the mystery is so inconsequential that I'm tempted to just skip it. But I can't. I'm contractually obligated to review everything. Who is this contract signed with? My fucking obsessive-compulsive disorder. So anyway, the guy dies, and our heroes, who are now abandoning beating the game and saving everyone in order to solve some menial mystery that in the long run will mean nothing to anyone, start asking around to find out if anyone saw what happened. Gee, I wonder if it's the only person in the crowd with exotic hair and a unique-looking outfit. You know, if characters are supposed to reflect their respective players in real life, why do some of them have exotic hair colors when their players don't? And no, it's not just an anime thing, because we do eventually see some of the characters as they are in real life, and they don't have crazy anime hair. She tells what she saw and that she knew the guy. They escort her back to her room and try to come up with a starting point for clues when...
Oh, and by the way, try not to be so rude when you're speaking to me.
Oh, okay. Should I call you Ms. next time?
A question. Where did that come from? Why did Asuna suddenly lose her temper with Kirito in a rather passive and monotone conversation? No, seriously, explain to me the point of that bit. It starts with her asking Kirito to not be rude by not calling her by her title, or something, but then ends with her going, never mind. I mean, we get it. She's irritated with this asshole. This has already been established. Why was the flow of the scene broken for the sake of making sure we know that these two don't totally get along? Didn't you just do that, like, not even a minute ago when Asuna crushed Kirito's hand? I mean, really? Think about it. First, they're talking about mystery stuff, very casually. Then all of a sudden, Asuna flies half off the handle about the way Kirito addresses her. I think? Like, that's how it ends, but why did it begin? Was it because he didn't address Her Majesty properly? Don't they know each other well enough to be able to speak informally? It's so fucking confusing that even Kirito doesn't know how to respond to it.
Okay.
So after that, they go to see Token Black Guy about the sword. Or is it a spear? They say it's a spear, but that don't look like no spear I ever saw. Turns out the spear, isn't anything special and was made by a guy named Grimlock. So Kirito, being the one to suggest taking the sword to be appraised by Aegil, and thus implying that he trusts Aegil's opinion in these sort of matters, attempts to stab himself with the spear because he doesn't trust Aegil's opinion in these sort of matters.
Are you out of your mind? That thing's already killed one person!
I know. But we need to find out what this thing's capable of, don't we?
He just said that it wasn't capable of anything that any other spear couldn't already do. What, did you think that someone hacked the game from within to make it? How the hell would anyone do that? The only time that something like that is even conceivable is when Kirito finds the Matrix room and uses some sort of panel that was intended for GMs, which is only accessible by going through a boss that is so powerful that even the mighty ultimate badass and his girlfriend couldn't handle it. So what chance would anyone else have at accessing a room like that to make a weapon like that, Mr. Hero character? Anyway, the next day they question Purple Hair about the guy who made the spear. Fuck! She tells them about how her former guild found some super rare ring that was incredibly useful to anyone and everyone. See, Gradalia? This is something that'd be worth killing for because of its rarity and because it actually has market value due to its universal usefulness. She goes on about how some in her guild wanted to sell it and others wanted to keep it, so they voted to selling it. Then some lady named Griselda went to go sell it but never came back. She then says that Grislock was Grimelda's wife, or husband. And if the husband guy is the one killing the other guys who wanted to keep it, then his targets would be Purple Hair and some other dude, I guess. So they take Purple Hair to meet the other dude to tell him about all this shit that's going down. Hey, detectives, you sure you want to do that? The girl doesn't seem too emotionally stable to bring to an interrogation, especially if it's on a guy from her past who might also be tied to this whole murder plot. Not just that, but who knows how this other guy is gonna take the news about him possibly being next in this murder scheme that revolves around something that he may have inadvertently had a hand in causing. Putting these two individuals in the same room right now probably isn't the best idea. It might just cause one of them to snap and the other to lose his marbles.
Our fate was sealed when that ring dropped! We shouldn't have voted!
Think about it. Only a ghost can PK someone in a safe zone.
Like that. You know, if the dagger was already in her back, then why did it make a plunging into flesh sound? How could they recreate that sound? The next episode starts right where the last one left off, with Purple Hair dying from a dagger that didn't produce a stabbing sound effect, yet somehow it is reproduced. Kirito gives chase to the alleged killer, and it's during this chase that I really begin to notice the whole deformed face thing during fast-moving, elaborate action scenes. I get that it's meant to exaggerate certain actions and motions, but it just looks so much worse when compared to the rest of the animations that go on in this show. This show, for the most part, looks absolutely gorgeous in terms of environment and character designs, but the moment that swift action needs to happen, suddenly we get this, and this, and this. And I also get that certain sacrifices have to be made in animation to make such motions possible without blowing up the studio's budget. But do they have to look like this? Deformed to the point where we almost don't recognize them? Anyway, the perp gets away and Kirito goes back to the inn.
She's come back to get revenge on us. Only a ghost can PK someone in a safe zone.
So Kirito rules out the possibility of the killer being a ghost on the grounds of it being stupid. Then he and Asuna go to the park to work out what happened. They have a nice little moment together while eating lunch where it's revealed that Asuna, who back in episode 2 didn't even know about condiments in this game, is now an experienced chef. Kirito cracks a little joke that almost makes her want to crack his head open when he drops his sandwich and has a revelation. He realizes that what they've been doing has been a colossal waste of time and that they should get back to the front lines, whatever that is. Oh, and also that no one has actually died besides Griswold.
And at the precise second when his armor's durability expired, poof. Kynes used a crystal to teleport out of his armor.
Poof?
Poof. Kynes used a crystal to teleport out of his armor.
That's it? What, really? He just bamfed out of his armor? Why would someone be able to do that in any video game, let alone this one? I mean, I know that a madman made this game, and I know that people can take their clothes off with the push of a button, but why the need to directly teleport out of them as well? In what situation would something like that be useful? If you're really hot and ready, you already have a button to make yourself super naked. Not just that, but are you sure he teleported out? I don't know about you, but I didn't see no geyser of light emanating from that dude. It's almost as if this whole scenario was contrived so the writers could bullshit their way out of explaining how this convoluted mystery happened. Oh, sorry. Did I say contrived? I meant to say. Where was I? Oh yeah, the boring mystery. Good. Turns out the whole thing was a scam to make the guy in armor confess to committing the original murder from 6 months ago. But it turns out that he didn't kill her. Well, actually, he aided in her murder, but he didn't know of it. Except he did. Or something. This is the point where the whole mystery, instead of becoming clearer on what's going on, becomes something of a convoluted mess. So I think the armor guy was paid money to hold onto some crystal for someone, but he sorta knew that it might lead to Jizzlock getting killed. But then it turns out that all three of them were idiots and had nothing to do with the actual murder. So then the actual murderer sends out some assholes in cloaks to murder them, but then the murderers leave when Kirito shows up on his glowing horse and asks all of them to fuck off. Then he tells the idiots how he and Asuna figured out the entire Scooby-Doo plot back at dinner. But didn't they just have lunch, like not even 5 minutes ago? And Asuna brings the real murderer out, Frizelda. But he didn't actually kill his wife, he hired someone else to do it. But then Kirito says,
Your plan was the perfect chance for him to bury the ring incident, and any witnesses once and for all.
well, if he wanted to do that, then why not kill everyone himself? There's still gonna be people who know, who I'd imagine would only keep their mouths shut because of money, and who's to say how far that'll go for them. And wait, didn't Kirito also say before that?
He was worried faking PKs in a safe zone was gonna draw a lot of attention. He didn't want to take the risk of someone snooping around for answers.
You're kind of contradicting yourself there, Kirito. But do you see what I mean? This whole mystery is so overly complicated that I didn't even want to try to cover it in this stupid review. Then they figure out that he had her killed for money, I think. Except he actually did it because she became a different person when she played this game. Or fucking something. Does this hipster not know anything about the internet? But then Asuna says that he didn't actually love her, and that causes him to break down. The fuck does the opinion of some girl you've never seen before matter to you? So they take him away, Kirito and Asuna become friends and see a ghost, and the end. For this episode, anyway. Now before I move on, there's two things I'd like to point out. One,
Wait, I didn't mean it! That didn't come out right! You were talking about how it's romantic and plastic and...
that was actually funny. And two, there was a real missed opportunity in this story for some great foreshadowing. When Grislock says,
Once you've found love, believe me, you'll do anything to keep it.
it would have been kinda neat to see Kirito face such a crisis later on involving Asuna, thematically tying the first and second half of this season together. You know, outside of the obvious, it takes place in a VR world. But that never happens. At no point is Kirito presented such a moral challenge to his character by the end of this season. I just find it really disappointing to see such an obvious chance at adding a little more depth to this show be passed in favor of this. But then again, maybe I shouldn't be surprised. After all, doing something like that would actually require effort and some talent, something that they had ample supply of for the second half of the season. And by ample supply, I mean none at all.